go, but um, that's neither here nor there. That's not the point of this video now. What I wanted to talk about now was working at Funko, my experiences, what I experienced. Um, some may know, a lot may not know. So I'll kind of explain it now. Um, this kind of ties in with my life update video. So I actually moved from Wisconsin back home to where I'm originally from, Everett, Washington, and was employed by Funko for a few months. And this is my personal opinions and this is my experiences. I don't want anybody else to take what I'm saying here as a divine gospel, I guess. This was my experience, my opinions, my views. So please don't take this and use this as, oh, like, well, this is definitely what working for Funko is like. No, like, everybody's experiences are a little bit different. This is just my personal experiences. So the hiring process for Funko, and before I get to that, there's a few things I want to cover as far as the culture of working at Funko, the benefits, the location, the hours, and the amenities that you get working at Funko, because there are quite a bit. So, first of all, the hiring process for Funko was a little lengthy. It took me about 3 weeks from beginning to start. Which for me was fine because I applied for Funko before I had even left Wisconsin. So by the time I got there, I had my in-person interview. I had a phone conversation with some people. All my onboarding was done online. So all that was pretty smooth in that aspect. So if you are considering working for Funko, just be prepared for a lengthy hiring process, because it will be a while, but it is worth it, or at least it was worth it to me. Now, I do know that there's a lot of stuff going on with Funko as far as things being restructured, or people getting let go or laid off or terminated or whatever. I'm not going to speak into that. I have talked to some people who I'm still friends with who work at Funko, so I have a bit of insider information as well. But I will not get into that, and if you message me, I still won't get into it. Like, there was a lot of things that were said to me in confidence that I won't betray. So, with that being said, first of all, the location for Funko is great. Everett, Washington is not really the greatest. When I was a kid growing up there, it used to be pretty fantastic. The Port Gardner building with Funko HQ is housed. Now, there's multiple buildings for HQ downtown. There are multiple offices for Funko's offices, I should say, but HQ itself is on the corner of Wetmore Avenue and California Street. We call it the Port Gardner building in Everett. There's a bakery right next door called Carl's, which is amazing. If you're ever in Everett and go to Carl's, trust me, you won't be disappointed. And then there's a little dinky furniture shop next to it, which actually used to be an American Legion bar that my mother actually used to manage. My father at one point was working in the Port Gardner building itself. His offices were a part of where Funko is now. He worked for a nonprofit organization where they did the homecomings for Everett Naval Station. Such as ships would come in. My father was the guy who would go on the base and organize the homecomings, which I thought was great. So I got to work where my father worked, right next to where my mother worked. Everything just kind of came full circle. I grew up right down the street. It was great. There's a parking garage attached to it that Funko employees can park in for free. They don't have to pay for it. They just get a parking pass from security that they have to swap out once a month, which is great. And they don't have to use the same entrance as the customers, so they don't have to worry about being hounded, which was absolutely amazing, especially on drop days where there could be a line down Wetmore Avenue and around the corner to California Street. It can get pretty lengthy, so that was a major plus. Now, working for Funko, you are given certain things. There's an employee or company gym in the basement with a full locker room and showers. You can go in and you can use that gym before your shift, after your shift. You can go in on a day off, and it's fully stocked. It is super great. I definitely got lots of use out of that gym while I worked there, as well as the showers in the locker room. Obviously, if you work out before you go to work, you don't want stinky. That was a godsend. And then they also have the lounge, which, if you guys have watched any of Funko's lives, then you would have seen it on the lives. Yes, there is an arcade. Yes, there is a bowling alley, a full-on bowling alley. Well, I can't remember if it was 2 or 4 lanes, but there was multiple lanes. It wasn't just one. Um, but it is quite amazing down there. If you go upstairs to the second floor, which is where you clock in, where second, third, and above, that's all offices and such. Second floor is where you would come in, clock in, go past security, all that stuff, say your pleasantries. There's also an employee break room up there, what they call it Freddy's Cafe, where you can get, you can purchase stuff from the canteen, have a Coke freestyle machine so you can get whatever beverages you like. There's also a machine there where you can get hot chocolate, coffee. It's pretty great. They really, in those aspects, between the gym, the cafes, the lounge, they take care of their employees so well. And I'm so grateful that I got the chance to work for Funko, that I can honestly say, hey, me, as a collector, as a fan, as a fanatic, I got to work for Funko. And I know that there's not a lot of us out there that can say that, but I can, and I'm so grateful for it. And like I said, working for the retail store, some days were better than others. I primarily handled the Gotham section, so I handled a lot of the DC, television, movies, pop rocks, and then, of course, the Batman items. I also had some Loungefly items, some wallets, some bags, but they kind of had more of that, like the Disney type section and the Harry Potter section. But I still had a chunk as well, because I also covered horror, obviously movies. But it was a lot of whatever the customer needed or whatever the customer had questions about, you were there. Like, that was your job. Like, you were customer support, basically. Customer, they were looking for something. Oh, hey, let me look in our system. We might have it in the stock room. Let me go grab it if I have it. Or, because you could scan an item and it would tell you exactly how many of them were in stock or scanned in by the receiving team. And the receiving team was phenomenal. Those guys worked so incredibly hard, and they were really on top of everything. And if you had a question, if you can't find something, hey, do you know where this is? Yeah, boom, 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 boom. There it is. And then, it was great. My experiences with management was great. I have no crosswords to say about anybody. My employment ended with Funko not due to anything that was happening. It ended due to me being away from my kids and missing my kids. I went through an extremely hard time, and I packed up my car and I started driving back towards Wisconsin. And of course, some know my car did die on me in the middle of Montana. But whatever, cars can be replaced, but I can't replace my children. And then I drove out to Washington from Wisconsin, and then that car got hit in downtown Seattle. So that got hit, I bought a new one, and then one that I bought died in Montana. So it's been a whole ordeal. But the benefits for working at Funko were great. I personally didn't sign up for them, but I was looking at the cost. The cost wasn't bad. Like, if you were just a single person, it really wasn't bad. If you had a family, it could be a little bit pricey, but for the coverage that you were getting, it was still worth it 100%. I will say, the area around HQ, there was a lot of homeless people. There was a lot, which, I'm not hating on homeless people. Everybody has their own stuff going on. People might fall on hard times. I get it. I've been there. I've lived on the streets myself for a short period of time, so I'm not gonna bag on anybody for that. But there's also a large population of, shall I say, drug addicts or tweakers. And yes, they will mess with people's cars. They will try to come to the store. They will try to steal stuff. This is all stuff that I had seen myself. But you just gotta deal with it. It's just part of living in Everett. That it's a big problem there. But the police are through pretty frequently, and they come by the shop. They come in the shop, and then with the naval station being right down the street as well, We get a lot of naval personnel, so um, they've been a good deterrent. Um, like I said, I can't really say anything bad about working for Funko. I mean, it was great, and even 50% off, you know, on everything that wasn't um, con or Funko Shop exclusive, which was great. Um, Part of your onboarding is they gave you something called a golden ticket, which then gave you any 2 items in the shop for free, granted that they weren't con exclusive or Funko Shop exclusive, which was great. I mean, but where else can you work? You're like, oh, I got an 18-inch pop. I paid $50 for it, and they're regularly $100. That was a huge perk. Um, it just, I loved working for Funko. I do. if they had a job here available in Wisconsin that they would hire me for, I'd take it in a heartbeat. I wouldn't even think twice about it. Now I've dealt with a few people from management, just kind of coming and going, exchanging pleasantries and such. And again, nothing but positive things to say. I do love the fact that in the offices that there are slides where you can slide from one floor to the other, and if you're not careful, those slides get really fast, and you will crash and burn. So that was, I personally didn't partake in it because I've lost a lot of weight, but I'm still a big guy. Big guys don't need to be going down slides. I didn't get the chance to really deal with Andrew Perlmutter much. I think I might have seen him once in passing. Now I've seen Brian Mariotti a few times. Nice guy, super nice guy. And some of the other management teams, they were all great. The security team was fantastic. The marketing guys were fantastic. The artists were fantastic. Like literally everybody that I've come across that I would talk to and have a conversation with, either during breaks or coming and going, from the beginning of shift, ending of shift, they were all just super fantastic. It's really, when I was there. Now I'm saying, this might have changed since everything started happening, but when I was there, it was very much a team-oriented atmosphere, and it was, teamwork making dream work type of mentality. And I loved that, and they were so accepting of everybody. It didn't matter, if you were having a bad day and they could tell, they'd pull you off to the side, like, hey, you need to talk to somebody, let's try to work this out with you. A lot of places you go into, they're like, oh, we don't care your number, you'll make us money. But no, Funko, you could tell they really cared, and they really cherished their employees. If anybody from Funko is watching this, I thoroughly enjoyed my time with you, and I wish it could have been a lot longer, but I miss my children. I needed to be here for my children. Being 2,000 miles away, it just wasn't working for me anymore. So it's, but again, this is my experiences, my observations, stuff that I had dealt with. So please don't take this as 100% that's Funko all the way. Other people have different experiences. If you work for Funko, you might have a different experience. But for now, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna get out of here. But if you're watching, thank you. If you made it to the end, thank you. Everybody who stuck by, messaged me, commented me, subscribed, thank you.